The painter's muse. Damien's studio was a sanctuary of solitude, a place where he could lose himself in the grayness of his art. For years, he had been painting only in shades of gray. The world to him was a dull, monochromatic landscape. He found comfort in the simplicity, the ease with which he could convey emotion without the distraction of color. His paintings were melancholic, introspective, and beautiful in their own way. But everything changed when Sophie burst into his life like a splash of vibrant color on a gray canvas. A dancer, she was known for her fiery passion and radiant smile. Her presence shook Damien's world to its core, challenging him to see beyond the monotony he had grown accustomed to. At first, Damien resisted the temptation to incorporate color into his art. He was afraid of losing control, of being overwhelmed by the bright hues that seemed to pulse through Sophie like lifeblood. But as their love blossomed, so did his curiosity. He found himself stealing glances at the world around him, the red sunsets, the blue skies, the golden light that danced across her skin. Sophie's influence seeped into every aspect of Damien's life. His paintings began to take on a new dimension, as if the colors he had once shunned were now begging to be let out. The grayness receded, and in its place, a kaleidoscope of hues emerged: reds that burned like embers, blues that whispered secrets, and golds that shone like sunbeams. As their love continued to grow, Damien's art evolved with it. He found himself pouring all his emotions onto the canvas, creating pieces that were raw, honest, and full of life. Sophie was his muse, inspiring him to explore the depths of color and emotion he had never thought possible. But as much as Damien loved Sophie, he knew that their time together was limited. She had a dance tour scheduled, one that would take her across the globe, leaving him behind. The thought of being apart from her was like a dull ache in his chest. It was a pain he couldn't ignore. In those last moments before she left, Damien felt an overwhelming urge to capture Sophie's essence on canvas. He knew that he had never painted with such vibrancy, such passion, as he would this time. He mixed colors with reckless abandon, blending reds and blues and golds into a hue that seemed to pulse like her very heartbeat. The painting took shape before him, a masterpiece unlike any he had ever created. It was Sophie, radiant and full of life, her features glowing with an otherworldly light. The colors danced across the canvas, a symphony of movement and emotion that seemed to leap off the page. As Damien finished the final brushstroke, tears pricked at the corners of his eyes. He knew that he had created something special, a testament to their love, a reminder of the impact Sophie had on his life. The day she left, Damien felt lost without her. The silence in his studio was oppressive, the grayness creeping back like a shroud. But even as the darkness closed in around him, he knew that Sophie's colors would always be with him, a reminder of their love and the masterpiece they had created together. Years went by, and Damien's art continued to evolve. He never lost the vibrancy, the passion, that Sophie had brought into his life. His paintings became legendary, sought after by collectors and museums around the world. And through it all, he knew that his true masterpiece was not the art itself, but the love story that had inspired it, a tale of two souls who had found each other in the grayness and had brought color to each other's lives. In those quiet moments when Damien would sit in his studio, surrounded by the canvases that told their story, he knew that Sophie was still with him. Her colors danced across the walls, reminding him of the masterpiece they had created together, a work of art that would forever be etched in his heart and on his canvas. The painter's muse may have left him physically, but her spirit remained, inspiring him to create works of beauty and passion that would continue to touch hearts for generations to come.